This is the beginning of part 2 of the Hanon series of exercises. I do not recommend most of the exercises beyond part 1 for most people. The first exercise in part 2 is exercise number 21. It's basically a version of the first exercise in part 1 that is lengthened, so it's basically twice as long. The version that you see over here is kind of a shortened version. I just wanted you to see it written out, but I'm going to change to my side view shortly so you can see the technique behind this. First, we want to look at what the notes are though. On the upward version, you'll see that it is starting on C and 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, then skipping a note. First, second finger going over to E. Then what happens is you'll see it doesn't show the rest of it, but you're going to repeat the same pattern starting on D. And keep going up 1 to 2 octaves. They recommend 2 octaves in the book, but I would suggest you can just do 1 octave just to kind of get the feel of it. If you want to do more, just do an octave up and down and then do it again. On the downward version, it's just a reverse of the upward version. So as you do the 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, skip a note for 4, and then continue. It's the same for both hands. So let's look at the technique. As you know with me, technique is super important. And this is what can make Hanon useful rather than harmful. So starting with the right hand, if I start on this C, I don't want to just keep it stiff and play this way. Now you may think this feels like it's working my muscles more. It's actually not working your muscles more. It's just tight, so it feels like you're doing more exercise. So what we really want to do is relax. We want to follow the motion of the notes. For this exercise, we're going to be using a wrist rotation or a clock kind of motion with the wrists and with the arm. And notice that my whole arm does move. Now watch, I'm going to do it very slowly. See how I do counterclockwise motion, and then almost all the way back, and then another counterclockwise motion with the wrist down, elbows coming out, and then come back in, and then repeat. So try that with me with the right hand if you've already got the pattern down. I'm only going to do from maybe C to E here. I'm going to go somewhat slowly. Ready, go. D. If you're still with me, keep going one more. If you want to keep going, be my guest and keep on going. For the left hand, we're going to reverse that motion and go into clockwise motion. Notice the elbow does move with this. So try that with me if you're already familiar with the pattern. I'll go slow again. 1, 2. One more. Now, when you're first starting this, I recommend you over-exaggerate the movements similarly to what I'm doing. Even if you do a little too much, it's almost better to do too much than too little for most of the things we do in music. I say that for musicality, including like dynamics, rubato, everything when I'm talking to students, because we can always dial it back, but it's actually harder to add more back in if we're playing something blandly. So now, hands together, if you want to try this with me, go ahead, or if you just want to watch the technique, go ahead and do that first so you can see what the arms are doing. I'm going to go somewhat slowly, then I'm going to show you it faster. All right, I'm going to stop there. I could go up to the full octave, but I just wanted to show you what the technique looks like. On the way down, we're essentially reversing the notation, but we're not changing the direction that each arm is necessarily going to move. So the right hand and right arm is still going to go in a counterclockwise motion, because this is the more natural way for the arm to move. Left hand, same thing, clockwise motion. So let me show that hands together. If you'd like to see it hands alone, please let me know in the comments. I can create some other videos for that. In just a little bit, I'm going to show the entire exercise one octave up and down faster so you can see what it looks like. So just remember, the wrist rotation and arm rotation is going to be the most important thing in this, but it does not negate the fact that we need to also keep the bridge from collapsing, which is these knuckles here. We don't want to have this just because you're trying so hard. And you also don't want to be tight as you're doing this. You really won't be able to do the wrist rotation if you're too tight. So now let me show you a little bit faster. And I'm just going to show you only the side view now so you can see that a little bit bigger. Now back down. If you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And don't worry, I will be showing some more of the exercises from part 1. I'm not done with that. I do show those every now and then. If there is a specific exercise you would like to see, please let me know, and check out my other exercises on Dohnyanyi and Cherny.